think there's so many women who are single who want a relationship who were where you were, in the sense they're like, okay, it has to be this, right? But then they've actually skipped over the guy that they could have had something really amazing with. So I guess it's not just timing, but it's also that's because of, you know, the work you did in yourself in terms of being like, okay, well, clearly, you know, you said about I was delusional.
I was.
And now, so what do you think? What would you say that you were delusional about? And then what kind of? And I definitely want to get into, you know, being open to someone different to what you're used to, and fighting against the habit, because that's what it is. That's what you're fighting against. You're fighting against that habit, right?
And it's very confusing to a human body, because you can easily mistake that if you're not emotionally emotionally and I genuinely do believe that a lot of people aren't at that stage. I'm a very deep person as it is. I literally Google best friend, we literally any little tiny thing, which is never always a good thing. I'm a very deep person, and I've studied myself because of my mental health and me having anxiety and stuff like that. So I knew that there was a certain time that's going to come when someone does come, and it's going to be harder than easy. It's not going to be easy. Do you know what I mean? But when you actually get put into that situation, it's very different. So before, I used to, it's really hard because I used to just go for just one person. It's just a one thing. So it's just, it wasn't because I didn't find anything else attractive or anyone else. It was genuinely because my mind was just almost like, that's all there was. You know how you said that we vet the people, like there's a pool of people and the pool gets smaller and smaller. Yeah, mine was like it wasn't even like a lake. It was like like it was a bowl of water for a goldfish. Literally, because I'm sorry, but it's just not to say that those kind of people never are serious. Because you can never count that. There's definitely people out there that are look the way they look and they are in good serious relationships. I don't know what happened with mine. I feel like maybe it was just not meant to be that way, but I was attracting just the wrong type of people that looked the same or acted the same. And I don't even think it was the looks. I think it was more the character, the energy that they brought. Because I feel like someone can look a certain way, but the energy is the energy that you're so addicted to. The push and pull, the hot and cold,
that roller coaster.
And I think
stimulation,
and the looks came along with it because they are usually the same type of people. Do you know what I mean? So I think in that sense, when I met my boyfriend, it wasn't because he wasn't my type physically. He wasn't my type energetically. He wasn't if he was someone I would dream of to be. But when I'm there with them, I'm like, oh, this is red zone. I need to go.
What was the delusion about then? Because you said that you were delusional about something, about stuff before.
Trying to change someone.
So trying to change, as in trying to get somebody that had been the pattern of it just not going anywhere.
Literally.
Okay. So then what would you say to the girl who's like, okay, she wants to find a relationship, find a good man, etc. She's had the same experience, similar, where she's met guys, dated guys, and they've not invested in her, they've not reciprocated, etc., right? And she's like, yeah, there's this guy on the scene and he is good and he's investing and showing, but I'm just not feeling it at the moment. What would you say to her?
You have to actually understand whether you're not feeling that person because they're genuinely just not the type of person like that. Because I feel like even though, yes, it may not be your type on paper, you will have to have some sort of attraction to that person, in my opinion. I wouldn't want to be with someone that I'm not not even an inch. If I don't see any potential, you're not going to. So I feel like that is the first hurdle. If that person is someone, because I've met a lot of nice guys, because I think I've told you before, I met a nice guy that was actually a type on paper in a sense that he looked like the people before, but the way that he was completely he was overly nice to the point where someone else would be perfect for him, but it was just not for me. Do you know what I mean? But you see how crazy it is now where I actually have both. It's I met the person and it's not icking me out. Whereas with the other guy, it's very energy based. So I say the first hurdle, see if they're actually someone that you would consider getting to know, right? And even if you have that block, just actually give it some time. Stop thinking that you're going to go on 1 date, 2 dates, even 3 dates, and you're going to be in love with that person because you're so used to going on a date with the wrong guy, and they give you this like burst of like this dopamine where it's like you're chasing this like thrill and this lust. Like I had to really learn to let go of lust.
Yeah. Do you know what I think? Do you know what I think it is about nice guys? I think the reason that never works with girls is because if he's willing to do everything at the expense of himself, it looks like he doesn't respect himself. Yeah. And as a woman, you can't like a guy that you can't respect.
Yes.
That's what it is.
You have to have a little bit of something to you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You can't be like a pushover. No woman wants a guy that's a pushover. We do want someone that ideally would want to lead, because as much as we speak about the roles and stuff like that nowadays, obviously things have changed a lot, but like we still want that. We still want someone that even though he's a nice person, he can still put his foot down, or he can still, you know, make you feel a little bit more like I can't walk all over this guy. 100%. And I think at the start where I think I was scared of that. I was scared of him being that person that will be pushed over. And I think that's why I was so hesitant, because I was like, this is not the type of person, like not even looks wise, just type of person that I'll go for. And I'm very confused to like this uncomfortability that I'm feeling, and I don't know if it's going to be one of those things that he's like overly icky and overly too nice to me, and I'm like, you need to go. You know what I mean? I didn't want it to be, and I think this time round I was like, please don't do this to me. Like I just want to find that type of person that is like, you know, spot on in a sense. Obviously no one's perfect, but I think I was so afraid that I was so like, I would almost ruminate because I wasn't perfect. You know how you're asking me for advice. Now that I've come out of it, I can say, okay, you know, give it a few dates, give it some time. But I had to literally drill that into my brain. And I had a lot of time when I was speaking to my friend, and my friend was like, look, if I didn't have my friend, actually, this wouldn't have even worked, because the amount of time that he sat me down and he was like, Sandra, like, this is a way of being, and this is like your body is so used to being with certain type of people, you're gonna keep attracting that, and if it's not gonna be that, you're gonna find it like this is danger zone. You're not in your safety, you're out of your comfort zone, your body feels like it needs to run, and it needs to find what you're used to and what you're comfortable with, even though that's not good for you. I feel like it's very hard for me to give always the advice where I was like, I could be a hypocrite saying it. No,
I think it's just, I think it's more just sharing, you know, what you've learned along the way, the changes that you've made in yourself, and like, because we have to take accountability for the results that we have, right? And I think it is, you know, and I'm speaking from the male perspective here, but I think a lot of the time when guys go, oh, I'm not attracting the kind of woman I want, they go, that's because I haven't grown in myself. But I think a lot of what guys feel like they see from women is, oh, if I'm not attracting or getting the guy that I want, it's because there's something wrong with guys as a whole.
Yeah, that is so true.
Do you know what I mean? They're like, it's something wrong with guys.
That is so true.
And so guys are like, well, you know, you're delusional, or you don't want to take accountability and stuff. And, you know, and that's why I think it's amazing to see in your case, because, you know, like, your reality is what you create, and you can decide whether you want to attract this or not, but we have to make that growth and shift within ourselves.
You have to be okay with being uncomfortable for a while.
Yes.
And I feel like that doesn't always look how you want it to look. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you think that it's going to be something that's like perfect, and it's like picture perfect. And I think a lot of people nowadays really do struggle with like mental health and like I don't know, anxiety or overthinking or being with the wrong people, trust issues. Like you're basing it off of TikToks that are talking about like secure people that have been through a very secure life, like with good parents, 2 parents are together, showing you love. Like we are not, a lot of these people, like nowadays, we're just not made from very secure foundations. We have flaws, and we have anxiety, we have like things that we carry, and I have a lot of like trauma that I carry from past relationships and just like my childhood, and you know, not having a good relationship with my dad. Like I carried those things, so I cannot expect myself to find like a perfect person for it to be like a smooth run with no sort of roller coaster. And I think because when I used to be with the toxic people, it used to feel like it's perfect because it was like my comfortability.
Yes.
But now when I stepped into something that's actually healthy per se, we're not perfect, but we're pretty healthy. I was able to learn that it's going to bring out a lot of bad and these ugly things about you that you didn't want to face when you was with the other person because you were so busy trying to chase that person that you forgot about yourself.
So,
do you know what I mean?
So true. I think you're so used to being in that chaos, and that chaos with the other person, the tumultuous, the back and forth, hot and cold, the chasing, that you were so used to being in that kind of zone, that area, that being in a safer, healthier area felt uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're like, logically, I know this is right, but I just feel this, I'm not used to being here.
And the anxiety, when I tell you, like, it was physically draining. Like, it was honestly, it's scary because a lot of people give up because it's like, I only know this person like a month. Why am I bothering? That's what people would say. But I think because I know I'm coming into something with an intention, I actually want to build something with someone. I'm at an age now where I'm like, okay, I'm scared of, I would say I was scared of commitment. Even till now, I think when I used to be with other people, I used to know there was an ending. And I used to know it's a temporary thing deep down. And I think that was one of those things that it was like a chase, push and pull. Like I knew that this person wasn't right for me, but I so badly wanted them to be. And I, now I'm at a state of like, this is not a temporary thing. Well, I'd like to hope so. But do you know what I mean? Like, and now that is actually bringing fear of like commitment. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, not because I don't want to be committed to that person or like loyal, like nothing to do with loyalty, just the whole idea of like, have I found the right person?
The stakes are higher.
Do you know what I mean? Like
the stakes are higher.
Like, are we going to be together forever? Like forever sounds scary. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of things that you have in mind. Whereas before I didn't have time to think about that. All I had time to think about is he going to like me? Or how can I make him like me more? Or like, how can I make this person stay and beg them to stay? And I think a lot of people are unfortunately in those relationships when they stay for a long time thinking that they're with someone that's really right for them because of trials and tribulations. And like, it's so normal. Like it's not normal. And I think a lot of women are in a very bad situation where they are on just that kind of eggshells, like walking on eggshells, being with people that like they ideally want them to be the perfect partner, but they know they're not going to be the perfect partner. Like, and I think when you're actually with someone healthy and you've got trauma, you are going to have to just deal with the fact that these things are not as like comfortable as you 100%. Would want them to be, or how the media portrays perfect relationships to be, because they don't feel good. And so I can actually confirm a healthy relationship does not feel good at the start. Yeah.
Especially when you're so used to chaos.
Exactly.
And you're so used to hot and cold situationships, guys not taking it seriously. Of course, it's not gonna feel familiar or comfortable at the beginning.
No.
And I think as well, one thing about being in relationships that you touched on is that you're right. Your romantic relationship is where most of your triggers are gonna happen.
Yeah.
And most of your triggers are gonna happen there. And then sometimes we can have triggers and we're like, I didn't even know I had this until I was in a relationship. I'm like, I didn't know this was a thing about me.
Honestly, and I knew I was a fiery person, but boy, like I didn't know.
She would change her hair red, boy. Change her hair red for the fieriness. No, you know what it is? I had to learn. I'm not going to sit here and be like, listen, I was not the easiest. I'm still not the easiest person to be with. And I'm so grateful that I have found someone that actually has like the patience that I require, because the person I am, I've been through so much, and like it does shape you into a certain person. And like as much as accountability that you can take, you have to also understand that if you're with me with all the stuff that I've been through and I'm trying to work through. Yes. And I think a lot of people don't want that. They don't want someone with baggage or burdens of things that they've gone through, which is fair enough. But also, like, I was lucky enough to find someone that is giving me the space to be the person I am. Obviously, with a boundary. We had to really work on it, because there was a time and a place where we were like, okay, this is getting a bit too much. Like I was a bit triggered
from little things, or like I would like because he wasn't someone I was used to, I was very like snappy. I was almost kind of like not given the same amount of effort because I was almost running away from feeling how I'm feeling.
Yes.
Because I was like, well, this doesn't feel good or safe. Why am I giving all this energy, you know? And I think there was a time where it was a lot more him trying to like prove that he's safe to me. And I'm lucky enough that I was able to identify it on time, but I feel like a lot of women don't, and they lose someone that is actually good for them because they cannot understand that they're actually the ones that are effing up the relationship because of the fact that they can't like even like deal with, but like just understand and take accountability for the fact that, you know, your past is your past, but like this is a new person. And as much as you're trying to understand your traumas that you're getting like resurfacing, you need to also understand that like there is going to come a time where you're going to start affecting the relationship. And I think that came to me, and I think I'm so happy that like I'm getting the right help from myself, and just knowing that like I'm very aware of it and just being with the right person. Because before I had these triggers, I had these traumas, I had these things, but instead of being put in a safe space, they made me feel like I couldn't even feel those things. Like I was almost like not allowed to be with those emotions. I wasn't allowed because I was with a narcissistic people and manipulative people that made me feel crazy for feeling the way I was feeling. So as much as it's like good to be with someone that's healthy, that allows you, you also have to understand that it's not going to feel good. Like I said, it's not going to feel good because you now need to actually deep that you're the problem in certain areas. You know, the way that you are like it's not healthy, and the things that you've been accustomed to are not healthy. And if you don't make the right changes in yourself, then you're never going to find the right partner.
It is so big facts.
Hope you really enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode where that clip is from, then I want you to click right here where you can watch the full episode. And if you're ready to claim your man today, enroll in my program below, and I'll see you there. Wishing you an amazing day.